In this video, I'm going to give you a method you can use to save time in the studio. So I don't really go to any more studio sessions other than just my close friends. But I remember when I used to go, sometimes I would feel like I was taking too long making a beat. And that's one of the most important things when you're inside the studio is time. You don't want to have the artist just sitting around like without music playing in the studio. It's important to always have something going on, even if it's just a beat that you just put in the background while you're getting stuff ready. So I'm going to make a beat like if I was in the studio. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So the first thing I like to do to kind of speed up the session is I'll load up a piano and just kind of lay down a simple repetitive melody. That way I can just have something going right away. And then after, I'll take the time to kind of switch the sound out and just find something that sounds right. So I'm going to start off with Flex. Flex has a lot of good like stock piano sounds. If you go to the essential libraries, the essential pianos right here, I just like the light versions of them. So I'll go with, let's try the Yamaha. Or maybe the Steinway. Yeah, we'll do this one. And like I said, we're just going to lay down an easy pattern. Yeah, something easy like that. Just copy that over. Alright, and now I'm just going to lay down an easy top melody. Just follow me on these weird patterns. They'll sound better later. Copy this one over, just bring it down. And then I'm just going to lay down one root note. Just have this carry along the whole melody. So yeah, you see something just real easy and repetitive. Let's switch the sound out. I really like GMS for like pads and stuff like that. So we'll go into the pad and textures. I kind of like this one right here. I feel like we can do something with that. Let's throw halftime on it, see how that sounds. Yeah, already sounds pretty eerie. I'm going to load up an EQ and cut out the low end. Maybe some of the highs. Nah, it's already filling up pretty much that whole low range. So that's pretty solid. Alright, and then the next tip I'm going to give you that can really speed up a studio session is to just grab that same pattern and just copy it over. Instead of trying to create a whole nother pattern, just see if you can use that same pattern again. And a lot of times you can just have two layers that sound really good together and not even have to make a counter melody. So I'm going to open up Citrus. I love Citrus just because it has a huge library to it. I mean, look at all these sounds it has on it, especially the synth string section. A whole bunch of sounds in here. So like I said, we're just going to copy over that same pattern. I really like all the synths that Citrus has. So we'll just go through, try this short one. Hold on, I think we can do some with this one. I want to try something with this sound. I really like how it sounds, but I want it to still keep like a dark feel to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export it out. We'll mute the plugin for right now. And now with this exported version, we're going to reverse it. So you see how it really keeps that dark feel that I'm trying to go for. And I like how this one is already filling up a lot more of that high range, which is also another good tip just to have good mixes. You want to try to fill up as much of the EQ range as you can. So we're going to cut off a good amount of this mid range. Really wanted to just fill up this high range over here. And then I'm going to throw halftime on it too. Yeah, it's tough. See how that sounds like together. Alright, so for this one though, it does still need another sound to add a little more variation to the melody. So I'm just going to open up another plugin and build a counter melody. Let's try Harmless. Just go through these sounds. Let's try a lead. I don't know why I really like this one, but I feel like we can do something with this. It's called Here in My Car, and it's from the lead section. like something like this. Switch up this second part right here. Alright, let's throw halftime on that real quick, see how that sounds. Alright, here's another good tip too. If you've kind of already gone through sounds for maybe like 3 to 4 minutes, I would say just switch out either the pattern or the whole plugin itself, because then you're going to start digging too far and you're not going to find anything you really like. So it's better to just start over. So that's what I'm going to do. Instead of just building a whole different lead for this, I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. I'm just going to copy over that same pattern that we initially built, and then I'm going to pitch this one up, and I'm also going to delete the top end of the melody. So let's see if we can find anything that can work with this. I like this right here. I like that sound because it keeps like a eerie tone to everything. It's still like a slow melody, but it switches it up. It adds a little more to it. And because this plugin is a trial version, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to export it out. So I'm glad that actually happened. I built that whole counter melody as you saw, and I just wasn't finding any right sound with it, or the pattern itself just wasn't working with it. So instead of just trying to keep digging into new sounds and trying to find the perfect sound for it, I just scrapped that whole lead pattern, just copied over that same initial pattern, took off a couple notes so it's not the exact same thing, and then just kept looking for sounds. And I cut off a lot of the searching through sounds, but on this one I found this one probably within 1 minute. So if you don't find something that's working, just start over, either recreate the pattern or just switch out the plugin completely. And a lot of times you'll see that recreating a melody or just switching out the plugin will help you find an idea a lot quicker than just skimming through a whole bunch of sounds and not finding anything. I'm gonna open up an EQ. So this is nice because it's filling up the mid-range and a little bit of the high end, which I want. So I'm glad that this worked out. Cut off a little bit of the mids. We'll bring up a little bit more of those highs. Alright, so now that we have 3 sounds, that's pretty much all you need, especially when you're in a studio session. You don't want to waste too much time trying to just make a whole just complex melody. A lot of times just having 2 sounds is fine. But now that we have the melody done, the one thing I like to do before I do start the drums is just make sure I EQ all the sounds. Just a quick EQ. I don't really try to manipulate the sounds too much. So I already kind of worked on this counter. I just cut off the low end, add a little more highs. But I'll just go back to these other sounds and make sure that they're just leveled decently before I start adding like a bass or 808. So just mainly just cut off the low end and make sure they're not clashing. So all this is all set. So now the third thing I like to do to really keep a studio session moving fast is add a hi-hat and a clap before I do anything else. That way the artist can really start getting a groove of the beat and really start just writing stuff down now that there's a drum pattern going in the background. Because when you lay down an 808 or a kick first, you're gonna take some time to really start laying down the pattern and trying to find the right balance for it. But if you just add a hi-hat and a clap or a snare, it'll right away get the beat moving a little faster, and the artist can really start picturing in their head what they want to start writing. So try to keep the beat playing too. You don't really want the studio to be just empty, you know. Just throw a hi-hat on there. We'll go just throw a quick snare. So you see, it's something real fast you can do that'll keep the studio session moving a lot faster. Alright, and before we start laying down the rest of the drums, the next thing I like to do to keep the studio session just entertaining, because that's really what you want to do, is just keep everybody in the room entertained as much as possible. So for this method, we're going to go back to the playlist. And what I do is just copy over the pattern, just copy it out as if you were going to structure a whole song. And then what I'll do is just kind of bring in some of the sounds and take out some of the sounds, so there's just a little more variation while the beat is playing, so they're not too bored of the same pattern over and over. So something as simple as this can have just a slight variation in the beat while it's playing, re-engages their brain. So now with that being said, we can go back, play the beat, and finish up the drums. So I'm going to add an 808. Alright, I'm gonna switch it out to this one, just a little grimier. Alright, so I really want to use this 808 because it's a little grimier. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pitch everything down like 2 or 3 semitones. Because if I keep the 808 like down here, it'll sound a lot more grimy. So I'm going to grab these, pitch it down. Don't forget to add a soft clipper. I was wondering why I was clipping. Yeah, that's pretty solid. I'm just gonna boost it a little bit. Maybe pitch this down. Alright, so now let's just take a quick listen at what we have already. So you see, I honestly just layered the same pattern over and over, and the structure was just a real simple structure. I mean, all I did was just take off the counter for a couple parts, and then the drums, really easy drums to keep the bounce going. And one last pro tip I want to give you is, I don't know if you noticed, but when I was adding the drums, I had the beat playing in the background. And if you can do that and not rewind the beat so many times, because that really throws off an artist when they're trying to write, if they just hear the beginning of the beat over and over, or just like one little 2-bar over and over, it doesn't allow them to really focus on the lyrics and what they want to lay down. So if you can keep the beat playing while you're adding the drums and not try to stop the beat, that's another tip that can really help the artist finish up the lyrics a lot faster. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to see another video where I show you how to get the same halftime effect that I use here for free, make sure to check out this video next, and I'll see you there. Peace.